One moment here. Alright. Alright, so like all previous sessions here, 3 methods of communication. You can either listen right here, you can listen through my body cam footage, or you can listen through Discordia. I'll be going through all 3. At some point, you will need to look at either my body cam footage or Discordia to see some of the physical examples I'm going to show you as we move along. It's your choice which one you use. I really don't care each one, but they're all available depending on how you like to consume your media. All clear? Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Alright, now let me open the first file here. Alright, I think we're ready to get started here. So first we're going to talk about uniform structure and the vehicle structure within PD. Both items are highly regulated. As you can see, all of our cadets wear the same outfit. Once you pass cadet, there is a secondary outfit you may choose to wear if you so wish. But you're expected to wear this outfit at all times. There are no alterations allowed unless approved by Delta 01. Right? That is Chief Walker. And for your reference here, Mr. Redfield, I'm Delta 05, Chris Thompson, and I'm the overall trainer for the PD at the moment. Moving forward onto vehicle structure. Very structured again, once again at PD. All cadets are going to use a Charger, a 2016 Charger I believe. Once you pass that onto your officer rank, you'll have access to more additional vehicles, and as you rise through the ranks, you'll get better and better vehicles. Let's talk a little bit about logging hours and evidence. Let me just change something. Alright, Mr. Redfield, as you have now entered the training room, you should now see additional items inside the Discordia for, the LSPD. What there you'll see is something called logged hours for both the total weekly logged hours and a logged hours section. Now we do have a wonderful time machine that will of course stamp you in and stamp you out whenever you enter the your duties as a PD officer. But it is your responsibility at the end of every Saturday night to input those hours into the total weekly hours. That's required of you to manually do it yourself. It's not my job to go through and add up all your minutes. You want to get paid, you want to move up, that's on you. Evidence log. So you'll see the channel called evidence log. Whenever you put something in the evidence room downstairs, which I'll show you later, you must input those items into the evidence log. Alright? Do not keep items on you. As soon as you finish a scene, you process someone, whatever the case is, you get a free moment. Before you move to the next scene, you're putting the evidence away. Do not keep it on you. Alright, your MDT and F6 menu. In this case, you're going to have to take a quick view through either Discordia or again the body cam so you can see what I'm talking about now. Alright, apparently Discord is having issues with for me, so we're going to switch over to body cam only. Um, does everyone know what the link to my body cam footage is?
No.
Alright, it's going to be twitch.tv/AngelicXS, ANGELICXS. Once fucking Discord works again, I will open that up again, but it seems to be shit in the bed.
Wait, what was it again?
Twitch.tv/ANGELICXS, AngelicXS. You should be able to click on myself on Discordia and just hit watch stream if that works sometimes.
Is there any way you can link it in Discordia?
Yeah, I'll just send you direct. Message. Just give everyone time to go. Yep, still not working on that side. Hey, thank you, not Lando, and that's for following. Alright, okay, so because Discord's not working, we'll move on to this portion. Alright, I have pulled up the Los Santos Police Department MDT. This stands for Mobile Database Terminal. This will be your bread and butter for the job. There are 7 tabs available for you at the top. Home, Search Person, Search Vehicle, Search Reports, Create Report, Calls, and Warrants. Now all these tabs have different functions, and you will be using all of them during your day-to-day part. On the home screen, it will give you access to the most recent reports done by any officer, the recent warrants done by any officer, any personal searches you did, and any vehicle searches you did. The searches on the bottom here are personal only. You won't see what everyone did. So as the search person screen, the search person screen in the database allows you to search for anyone in the system, and you only need partials to find out the name. For example, Mr. Redfield, I can simply look for you to use the name Red. I typed in Red, and as you can see, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 individuals, all with Red in their name. Very easy to find people if need be, just by having a partial name. You can also use this to look up their prior offenses, and if they have any current statuses. For example, if I look up Mr. Drew Williams, you'll be able to say that he is a hardened criminal with a rap sheet that's scrollable and notes about his license. Yep. Very easy to identify. Searching a vehicle will do the same thing for you. You can pull a full or partial plate and identify it off the side of the screen here and get more details about that vehicle. Searching reports, you probably won't use this portion as much. It'll be more for me to use based off the name or the ID of every report you do. But if you ever do want to look for a report and you know what the report ID is, you just type it in here and you'll be able to pull it up real quick. Create report. Creating a report is something you will be doing consistently throughout your time in the force. A report is required to be written whenever you send someone to jail. Now, for example, if you just did a traffic stop and you're just finding someone, not sending them to jail, do not write a report on it. You only write reports if they are going to jail and spending jail time. It works the same thing where you would search the offender, and then you'd see a list of all the charges you want to do. For your report, your incident title must be the name of the largest offense. So, for example, murder, robbery, attempted murder. That's going to be your title. and then following, you're going to write AO if you're the arresting officer, or RO if you're the reporting officer, and your last name. So in this example, Drew Williams, let's say I caught him at the scene of a crime. He murdered a local. The title would be as follows. Murder hyphen AO Thompson, because I'm the one who arrested him on scene. Now, in this exact same example, if I came to the scene, there was a dead local but no individual there, and I found bullet casings, and I picked them up, I analyzed them, and those bullets came back to Mr. Williams, then I'm not the arresting officer, but I'm the reporting officer. So instead of AO here, I would put RO. And that just lets me know, or anyone know as they review the incidents, if you were directly involved in the scene, or you're just reporting about the scene. So in regards to your details, make sure they're very accurate. They explain the exact scene that happened so that we and your fellow officers can know what's going on. In order to help you with this, I'm going to give you all examples of a bad report, a good report, and an excellent report, just so you all have awareness of what they look like. In order to bring up the MDT, that's going to be your delete muscle once you are given the job role. For yourself, Chris, you can't pull it up until after you finish this training session, and then you'll be able to pull up some of the things I'm talking about.
Okay.
Alright, so let me pull up the example of the bad report. Alright, so a bad report should be visible to all of you. As you can see, the incident title is incorrect, and the details are completely garbage. The details do not tell me anything what happened in this case, and if I would look at this, I couldn't tell you what's happening. All I know is, people shot, they died, and now arrested. This is a bad report, and should not be done at all. A good report should be on the screen very shortly here. A good report is what you see here. We have the incident title, that's correct. We have the incident plus whatever it was.
Officer Thompson, you're not sharing your screen.
Yes, Discord right now is not letting me share my screen for a reason. I'm not fully connecting on the screen side. So for visual, you're going to have to look at the body cam footage.
Okay, where can I find the body cam?
Twitch.tv/AngelicXS. Do you need a direct link?
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me share my screen on Discord. I just keep getting infinite loading. So back to the good title. As you can see, the title is correct. The incident title is correct. I know what it's for. I know who wrote it. And I can see what happened. Mr. Williams was caught with attempting murder. Mr. Williams was caught attempting to murder a civilian with a baseball bat. He intervened. We caught him, and now he's in custody. This is a good report. I know what's going on here. Now let me show you what an excellent report is and what you should all strive for. Now on your screen, you're going to see an excellent report. Alright, again, the title is correct. I know exactly what happened. It was a robbery and evading. I know who did it. It was reported by Devin Dees. And his details tell me exactly what's going on. I could take just this report to a court case and have enough evidence to probably get away with winning that case. There's going to be no fumbling around with what happened or what may or may not have happened or what forgot. We have it all written here very clearly. It may read like a book, but it tells me a story. And that's the important thing what your report should do. It should tell me exactly what's going on. So I do not have to, guess at that scene what happened, and you justify your actions on that scene. Very simple. So this is an excellent report, and you should all strive for it at all times. Alright, so let's say that you create a report. You create a report here, and you weren't able to arrest the guy, he got away. So in that case, we would do a warrant. Now, to make a warrant, first you have to create your report, as you normally do. And once the report's created, let me see a different example. Yeah, so once the report's created here, what you do is you would hit the button that says New Warrant. That warrant would automatically populate in our warrant screen, and all the officers would be able to see that there's a warrant available for those charges. Now, whenever you sign into PT for the day, it is your responsibility to review the active warrants for the day and make sure you know who's on there. Because if you ever catch one of these criminals in the act, or you find them, so you arrest them on warrant charges to bring them in, you must serve them the warrant. When you serve them the warrant, all you will do is open up the warrant information. You'll see the charges right here, what they are. If you want to know what happened there, you can click on the report so you can see exactly why they did what they did. But you will hit them with their charges, and when it's done, you'll hit the button that says delete. Whenever you serve a warrant, you must delete the warrant. Simple as that. Do not leave any warrants that you have served on the board. Sometimes it might not refresh, so you just have to go to a different tab to come back in, and then typically at that point it will refresh to whatever the call was. The final tab we're going to talk about on your MDT is going to be your calls monitor. So your call monitor is where all the pings that you will see throughout your day are going to come from. The majority of them are going to come from locals who are very diligent about calling 911 to let enforcement know what's going on, and you'll find the details here. So on a normal basis, you'll see 3 little icons here. The eye at the bottom of the little circle is your information icon. It just brings up more details about that call, so you get more identifications. You see the vehicle, the identification, the color, location, etc., etc. The GPS pin will mark that location on your GPS map, so that way you can follow directly to that previous location. And little chains here are going to link you to that call. When you're linked to that call, it's just going to tell you that you've attached the call and give you a bit more information. You do have the ability to edit the call. Don't bother doing that. And then you have a trash can icon. This will only affect your personal view. So if you would like to keep your call monitor a little cleaner, you can go ahead and just attach to your calls and hit delete button, and it will delete it from your call list. So basically you'd only do that when you've attached yourself to the call, you've gone to the location, you've determined it's fine, and then you would delete the call. You wouldn't just delete the call because you see there's a bunch of reckless. You make sure that those scenes are cleared. Now the only exception to that, what I just said, is if some of these calls are from hours ago, like reckless driving calls from hours ago, then you are welcome to just delete them off your thing. Just attach and delete right off your system, because they're hours old. A reckless driving call is not going to be there. Anything else, though, you should investigate. If a civilian thinks 911, their call will also show up here with their details. So this is a very important screen for you to know what's going on in the city. Moving on to your F6 menu. Alright, you can see at the left side of my screen there, on my HUD there, I have 3 options. Citizen interaction, vehicle interaction, and object spawner. These are all 3 very important items you'll use with your F6 muscle, your job menu, that you'd use in day-to-day options. Citizen interaction will be how you deal with all civilians at all times. You have several options here. This is where you're going to get their ID cards from them, how you're going to search them, how you're going to cuff and uncuff them normally, how you're going to escort them when they are cuffed, put them in their vehicle when they're cuffed, take them out of the vehicle when they're cuffed, find them, see if they have any unpaid invoices on them, jail them once they've been fined and arrested, and manage any licenses they have on them. Now some of these features, such as the managing the license and the ID card, can be done from the MDT, and you're welcome to use MDT if you choose to do so. Next you have vehicle interaction. When you're in front of a vehicle, you'll have 4 options. You'll have vehicle information, which you'll see now. That's going to be a quick, MDT search based on exactly the item you see in front of you. You must use the plate exactly as you see in order to get a good search. You can have vehicle info, which is when you're actually close enough to a vehicle, you'll see the option that says vehicle info. You can look at it, and it's going to pull the license plate information for you immediately, or if there's none available, it's going to pull the VIN information for you if you're right in front of the vehicle. Next, you'll have the ability to impound the vehicle. So if the vehicle is parked illegally, it was used in a crime scene, and the crime scene is over, you need to get the vehicle out, and you're not able to call for a mechanic to tow it, you can impound that vehicle. And the last option is going to be lockpicking the vehicle. So again, that would be similar to something, maybe a civilian lost their keys, they want you to help them get inside. A criminal just finished a high-speed chase, you arrested them, but they locked their vehicle, so you're lockpicking the vehicle to search the vehicle, make sure there's nothing illegal in it. That's what you use lockpicking for. Thank you for the follow. Finally, you have your object spawner. This is for your day-to-day usage, your cone, your barrier, and your spike strips. Whenever you place these items down, as the individual who placed these items down, you must remove these items. You will see a prompt on how to do that. By default, it's going to be your E muscle to remove any item you place. Make sure before you leave a scene, any items you dropped, you remove. Any questions on your MDT and F6 menu?
Oh, sir.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to next section. Great, 10 codes and response codes. All 10 codes and response codes are going to be available in the Discordia under the information channel. You just got to scroll up to find it. 10 codes are very important for the day-to-day duties. They let officers know what's going on very rapidly. It is recommended you learn them as you move along in order to find out exactly what's happening in the scenario. Thank you for the sub. So regarding 10 codes, there are some you need to learn immediately, so you can respond very effectively, such as 1041, which is you coming on duty; 1042, you coming off duty; 10:8, you're in service; 10:7, you're out of service. Go through the thing. My recommendation as your trainer is to have this up on your phone whenever you're on duty. Just have it right there by your side, so that way if you hear something, you can look at it right away and figure out what it is. If you're on a call, you can quickly look over, take a second to find out what call you're doing, and make a 10 code call. Simply by doing this and repeating yourself, you're going to learn these 10 codes really quickly, and you'll be surprised at how fast some of these actually stick to you. When we're talking about some of the travel codes, you're going to have 3 travel codes when you're driving around the city. Code 1, which is going to be no lights, no sirens. You're obeying traffic laws, you're on regular patrol throughout the city. That's your standard mode of transportation when you're in the city. In Code 1, if you're stopped at a red light for more than 5 seconds, you are welcome to sound your sirens and cross intersection if it is clear to do so and safe to do so. Code 2 will be your lights only, no sirens. You're driving faster. Again, at intersections, you can go through them with your lights on, but make sure you hit your sirens when you go through them. And you're still obeying as many traffic laws as possible, but you're making a hurry to your location. A Code 2 response would be used for something when you're trying to move there quickly but quietly. This is something like a burglary or someone selling drugs. You don't want to give away your position as you come towards them, but you need to get there quickly to ready response. Finally, our Code 3 response is your lights and sirens are both blaring. This is your highest priority response. This goes to a bank robbery, an officer down, any serious crime where you need to get there quick. You're doing Code 3 response. Again, you're obeying as many traffic laws as you can, but you're moving quickly and rapidly and safely through the city to your location. Alright, so a chain of command. In the city, we have a chain of command. It goes cadets, probationary officers, first class, so on and so forth until you get all the way to the chief. When you are on duty, you are beholden to to the person directly above you. If you're a cadet, any issues you have go to probationary officers. Probationary officers respond to officers, and so on and so forth. At no point will you ever, skip the chain of command to go to someone higher rank. That is not acceptable. If civilians want to talk to someone in higher rank, they gotta go through the entire fucking chain before they see me. The exceptions to this, if there is no one in between you and a senior officer, for example, if you're a cadet and the next highest rank is a officer first class, then you would respond to the officer first class, because there's no one in between you. But if there's someone in between you, you would go to that person first. And if those issues are not resolved at the level right above you, then you can move up to the next rank, and next rank, and next rank, and so forth. Dispatching and comms etiquette. Alright. On PD, our default channel for all comms is going to be Radio 1. That's an LSPD secure channel. Whenever you sign on, you should go onto that one immediately. The other, emergency channel secured to emergency response forces in the city is frequency number 2. That's where the majority of the EMS are going to be available at all times. That's where they should be at the EMS, folks. Sometimes, we'll use channel 2 as a secondary radio frequency when we have too many calls, but for the most part, we'll stick to channel 1 and only go to channel 2 if we need EMS assistance. Now, when on comms, it is expected you do not talk over each other. Comms are to remain clear at all times in order to ensure that we can hear the information being relayed and get all the officers at the location as need be. Now, if for some reason you have vital information that is more important than whoever is speaking, you will announce break, break over the radio, give a few seconds for radio silence to occur, and provide your transmission. In general, when transmitting on a serious note, you will respond by doing your call sign and then the call sign of whoever you're talking to. Or in general, if it's just a call sign as a general announcement, you'll do your call sign plus whatever you're doing. So for example, if I was going to talk to, Officer 56, whoever's that right now, I'd go 05 to 56, and he would respond Delta 56 to 05, what do you need? And I would give him my relay. If I was doing a traffic stop, for example, I would go Delta 05, providing a 1011, which is a traffic stop, and I'd provide the details of that traffic stop. Again, you're always announcing your identifier first, so the officers know who is talking. So let's talk about a routine traffic stop. So you're aware what that would look like. I'll do the scenario of me pulling someone over in a traffic stop. We're going to say it's going to be a white and colored Rolls Royce, with a 4-door occupied 2 times. On, let's say, Strawberry Ave. So if I were to pull this individual over, I would go Delta 5, performing a 1011 at Strawberry Ave northbound. It is a white and color 4-door Rolls Royce, occupied 2 times. No additionals required. So, as you can see there, it was very clear what I'm doing. I'm doing a traffic stop. You know what vehicle I'm pulling over. You know where my location is. And you know what kind of scenario is going on. Now let's say the threat of that elevated a little bit higher. And we were looking for this Rolls Royce. Or maybe, as I got there, I read the plate real quick. I realized they're a known felon or they have an active warrant. How I would word that changed a little bit. So to go through that again, I'm going to say it again and we'll see if we can spot the difference. Delta 05 performing a 1011 with a white and color Rolls Royce located at Strawberry Ave northbound, requesting additional 32s at Strawberry Ave northbound. So as you can see there, the main thing I did is I requested 32s, which is backup, and I repeated my location. If you're requesting additionals and you're saying you need additional 32s, repeat your location, because that's when people perk up. When they hear the number 32, they realize, hey, I might be needed. So let them know where they're going, so that way they can get to you. And that's it. That's for any call. Whenever you want backup, let them know where you are so they can get to you. And again, you can use the comms to ask for, plate checks, Individual checks, anything you can't deal with immediately, you can see if any officer can do it for you that's available. Alright, so let's talk about weapon restrictions. As a cadet, the only weapons you're allowed to have are your taser, your combat pistol, a baton, and a flashlight if you like, maybe a nightstick. These are the only weapons you will have on duty regularly. We also have body armor available if you choose to wear some to keep yourself protected. You're more than welcome to do so. When you promote to probationary officer, you are allowed to enforce the AR rules, which we'll go over in a bit as well. But like vehicles, weapon structure is very regulated. So normally I would explain this when you get your probationary rank, but let me tell you exactly what the AR rules are for force. Pull this up. Alright, the assault rifle is a class 2 weapon that may only be used in 4 situations. Okay? The first situation is if you're the only officer on duty at that time, and you're responding to a situation, a scene that requires lethal force, you are welcome to use the AR as your default weapon. And that's only if you require lethal force. Scenario 2, when you're arriving on a scene and criminals are already presenting class 2 weaponry of their own kind, we consider class 2 weapons to be shotguns and ARs of their own, then you can elevate your lethal response to assault rifles. Number 3, if you're responding to a violent crime in progress and you and the members of the force on scene are outnumbered by at least 2 individuals, then you can elevate your response to an AR. So in this example here, there is 6 of us in this training room. The only time we could elevate to ARs in this scene if we are responding to it is if there were 8 criminals shooting back at us. We'd be outnumbered by at least 2 individuals, so we can elevate to ARs to try and control the scene. Finally, the last reason why you could use the AR is if you are responding to an officer down. That's not being an officer on scene and they went down, you are responding to that scene from an outside force. You can get there and use your AR to control the scene, secure the officer's body, and secure the area. Once the officer's body has been secure, you would de-escalate and go back to class 1s, which is your pistol. You do not remain at class 2 authorization when you respond to a scene. So now you know about weapon rules and weapon items. Let's talk about rules of force and how they are rules of engagement. Let me start this up by saying very quickly, with lethal weapons, you do not shoot first. This will be stressed over and over again. But with a lethal weapon, you do not pull that trigger unless you are being shot at. Okay? Your non-lethal weapon, you may use as required to control the situation. Okay? Non-lethal force is your primary use at all times. When you're responding to any call, if there's no reason to go to lethal, you will respond with non-lethal. Unless there's been actively shots fired in the area, and you're concerned about your safety, or there's a criminal in the area, you respond with a class 0 non-lethal weapon. Here's an example. If you pull up to Legion and you see someone brandishing a firearm, you will step out of your vehicle with your non-lethal drawn. They haven't shot a fire, they haven't done anything, you're just pulling your non-lethal out and telling them to fucking put it away. Now if they point an aim in at you, then you elevate to your class 1 lethal. But you do not fire. You only shoot back if they shoot you first. Here's the other example. If you respond to a shots fired call, a 1013, which just fucking happened, you'll respond to that scene with your lethal out, because the shot was already fired in the area. However, you are not going to shoot anybody on scene, because you don't know who shot or what's happening, but you will have your lethal out and available, if need be. Now, when talking about using your taser, Let's talk about how you're allowed to, arrest someone. In terms of just cuffing them, specifically cuffing them. You can only cuff someone if their hands are up, their hands are behind their back, or you have tased them. You can only tase an individual to cuff them if you have given them previous warning to either put their hands up or put their hands behind their back, or they are running away. In which case, they are running away from you, they are facing you, running towards you, then you can tase them to cuff them at that point. And that's when you can tase to cuff. So now you know a little bit about rules of force. Let's talk about priority of life. We consider 4 levels of life in the force. First, you have the life of your officers, who are your biggest priority. Your life is number 1. If you go down, you cannot do your job. If you're incapacitated, who's going to protect and serve? You must make sure you prioritize your life at all points of time. The next will be civilians. Everyone around you is your secondary point of life. You're there to protect them and serve them. At all points, anything you do should be done in mind with how to protect the most civilians around you. Following that is any hostages in any scenario. Hostages are unfortunately in a bad scenario. They're being taken captured by some suspect, and at any point in time, their life may be quenched without us being able to do anything. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that they get out of that scenario alive, and that's what our goal is to do, is to make sure they get out of that scenario alive. Finally, at the very bottom of the poll, we have the life of the suspect. Now, we would like to make sure we take a suspect alive. That's very important to do so. But if the life of that suspect in any way interferes with the life of the 3 parties above them, you would do everything in your power to make sure that the parties above them, remain alive. But remember, always try to de-escalate. We are not here to escalate the force of violence. We do not want to get to shootouts. We want to arrest them peacefully and get them to jail to serve their time. So earlier we already touched on traffic stops. Again, that's when you're going to pull up behind someone who did an illegal method. You're going to call in as you did before. You're going to let dispatch know, or officers know what the color of the vehicle is, the location, how many people are inside of it. Do your plate check, make sure you know who it belongs to, before you proceed up to that individual and talk to them, find out what's going on. In regards to traffic stops, before you exit your vehicle, you will shout at the individual in front of you to turn off their engine. You do not step out of your vehicle unless that engine is turned off. Then you may step out of that engine. Step out of that vehicle, sorry. Now, how you choose to, address the individual in question is fine. If you want to give them a warning, that's fine. If you want to, fine them for, going 10 over, 25 over, that's fine. We recommend giving, first offenders warnings. If you see them later in the day doing it again, then going ahead and hit them with a fine. But, go ahead, just give warnings for the most part. We're not dicks. We're not here to make people's days terrible. We're here just to enforce the law. Alright, so what if you pull up and that license plate comes to an individual with a warrant out? Or, you've seen them do a crime a little bit earlier and they actually pulled over for some reason. Well, you just elevated that traffic stop to a felony stop. At that point, you'll tell them to turn off their engine, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you call for backup. Alright? You do not get out of your vehicle until backup arrives. I want that engine off, and you just sit in that vehicle patiently until additional individuals arrive to assist you. The second officer on scene to that felony stop is going to park in front of the vehicle in question. In this city here, we always go for an immediate box in order to minimize the chance of the individual. In order to minimize the chance of the individual escaping from the scene. When it happens, of course, the first officer on scene is going to command the scene, regardless of what's happening. He's going to let them know who's stepping out of the vehicle, who's staying in the vehicle, who's going to address the person inside. For felony stops, I recommend you keep at least one individual in a car in case the person peels off, and then have as many non-lethals as possible with one maximum lethal weapon pointed out. But non-lethals are priority. And then, of course, you'd ask when it occurs, you'd ask the vehicle to step out of their vehicle. They step out. You'd ask them to walk backwards with their hands up in the air towards you, towards the primary officer. When he gets there, of course, you'd cuff him. You search him, read him his rights, take him to jail as per normal procedure. But let's say that felon said fuck that and went on a pursuit. He fucking just drove off. So vehicle pursuits. As the officer pursuing a vehicle, you have the advantage. All you're doing is you're waiting for that person to fuck up and make a mistake. So you're keeping a safe distance. You're making sure you're maintaining eyes at all times. And you're doing what you can to make sure that you can just see what's going on and let officers know what's doing it. So when you're in pursuit, if there are multiple units, the secondary unit is going to be responsible for, making callouts on comms. The secondary unit will be the one that's going to primarily to, left turn, northbound Alta Street, right turn, eastbound, whatever, and make those comms out so other individuals know where they are, and other officers can join the pursuit or try to cut off the individual in question. Keep a cool head during pursuits, alright? Eventually, they will crash, and we will be able to take them out. During a vehicle pursuit, normally, when they pull over, it'll most likely be in a non-lethal scenario. However, if they were being extremely reckless, hitting multiple civilians, crashing into multiple cars, they are now in danger to the city. So when you pull them over, or when they crash out, you can have your lethals drawn and tell them to put their hands up on them. You're not going to shoot them first, though. Okay? Even if they are crazy reckless, they fucking killed multiple civilians, and they step out of their vehicle, you're going to have your lethals drawn, yes, and you're going to ask them to comply with you. You are not going to shoot them first. Now, if they choose to have their weapons and aim at you and shoot at you, you can return fire. Now, very carefully, I said return fire. That means you were shot first. Because the PD does not shoot first. Clear? Okay, let's talk about a little more pursuits. Let's talk about pitting. So in this city, typically, we allow 30 seconds to a minute before we try to pit. 1 second here. Fucking mute Walker. Alright. That didn't work. Officer Walker, I'm going to need you to step back into the corner. Thank you. Alright, so pinning someone. After 30 seconds to a minute, you are allowed to radio in a request for pit. Alright? A pit must be approved by a senior ranked officer. The only time you may pit someone is when, without prior approval, is when no senior officer is available. Alright? But a senior officer, if available, must approve the pit. Do not just pit because you feel like it. If you're the only officer in the city, after that 30-second to minute mark, you can authorize a pit for yourself. Now, when pitting someone, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You're not going to pit someone in a manner that's going to endanger people around them. Alright? You're not going to pit them off Mount Chiliad. You're not going to pit them into a sidewalk full of civilians. You're going to be cognizant of where you're actually in this pit. A safe speed to pit someone is a speed at which they can turn. So you're not going to pit someone doing 100 kilometers down Great Bay Freeway. Not going to happen. You're going to wait till they slow down, and then you're going to pit them when it's safe to do so. If they can turn at that speed, you can pit at that speed. So how do you perform a pit maneuver? Well, look, I have a beautiful little diagram for you to look at. So as you can see, you're going to pull alongside the vehicle, in which case your front wheels are going to be in line with their back wheels. Once you are pulled alongside, you will turn sharply into that vehicle. That will cause them to lose control and turn inwards. You will then follow up with your vehicle and continue to collide with them into whatever secure area they are, building, a wall, whatever, you're going to continue with that. When a pit is performed by the primary vehicle, the secondary, third unit that is on scene, they're going to try and go for immediate box to secure that vehicle and prevent it from moving. Okay. Remember, you are pitting a vehicle to stop it from maneuvering. You're not pitting that vehicle because you're angry with it. You're not pitting that vehicle into civilians to cause additional problems. You're doing it in a safe manner in order to stop the incidents from increasing. So, approaching a scene. The first thing you're going to do when you approach a scene is to fucking assess it. You're not going to pull up directly in front and smell your vehicle. That's going to cause you to die. And what's the first priority of life? That's right. It's your officers. Your life is number one. So when you're arriving on scene, you're staying in your car, you're doing a little quick assessment, see what's going on before you make your decision what to do. Right? Next, when you get out of your vehicle, you lock your car. PD follows a strict rule. Compulsively lock everything. Doors in PD, fucking make sure it's locked. Your car, you get out of it, make sure it's locked. If you don't think it's locked, double check. Alright? Lock everything. So let's talk about, making contact, handling hostages, suspect demands, all that stuff. Bank robberies, essentially. When you arrive on scene of a bank robbery as the first officer, it is your job to assess the scene and see what's going on. Once that's done, you can try to, make contact with the suspect and, find out if they have any hostages available or what's the deal, what's going on with the bank. When a senior arrives on scene at a bank, if you are the first officer on scene and your senior arrives, it is your responsibility to immediately inform them what's going on. At that point, the senior will decide whether or not you're going to continue with whatever you're doing and he's going to sit back, or if he's going to take control of the scene. Whenever a senior arrives on scene, they have that option to take over. If they choose to take over, you will fucking listen to their commands. If they choose not to take over, they will assign someone to take command of the scene. It may be you, it may be someone else. You will follow the instructions of whoever is assigned. Now let's say you pull up to a scene and a hostage is there. In our city, regardless of how many hostages criminals may have, they get one demand. No more, no less, nothing else. Alright? If a demand is being made for the hostage's life, because we want the hostage back, so we will listen to the demand, you will ask, regardless of any officer is, you ask the senior officer, maybe he's a PD, maybe someone else, permission to approve the demand. And that senior officer will make a determination whether or not to approve that demand. If there's no senior officer on duty, the first officer on scene will make that decision. But again, make sure there's no senior officer available first. Alright, so let's talk more about the hostages and the mean taking. There are several ways that a suspect can take a hostage. The first way is where they have their gun directed to their head the entire time. That's a very hard scene to save a suspect from, as they're directly being held with the gun to their head. So we're going to do everything we can to get the hostage out. But what if that hostage is just kneeling down? At that point, we want to make sure we have an eye on where the suspects are looking.
What's the party wanting to go to that injury?
If suspects are talking to you, they're not pointing their gun at the suspect. There are scenarios in which you can save a suspect's life without giving a demand to the suspects. I'll give a couple examples here. Earlier this week we had a bank robbery at Pacific. That's the largest bank in the city. We had a suspect there, and the hostage was sitting there, kneeling down, fearing for his life, and the fucking suspect decided to come towards me. Wasn't looking at his hostage to talk to me. No guns pointed at the suspect. Hostage, sorry. The hostage realized this was a great time to fucking skedaddle and fucking moved from the area. He went behind the fucking wall. That allowed me to call for a breach for fellow officers, and I was able to detain the individual right in front of me. I was able to tase him, to detain him, and the officers were able to breach the scene. We were able to clear that bank without letting anything happen and save an hostage life at the same time. This is not going to be the day-to-day case. Most of the time, criminals are going to keep their gun pointed at the hostage. In which case, you're going to do what you can to get the hostage out. It is important that when you are responding to a hostage scenario, that regardless of how many officers are on scene, at least one officer is going to stay behind to check the hostage and clear the bank. When a hostage is checked out, you will detain them briefly by putting them in cuffs while you search the bank. Once the bank is clear, you will search the hostage and make sure that no evidence was planted on them. If evidence was planted on them, it's of no fault of the hostage. We can assume safely that the suspects planted that evidence on the hostage, and so we will just remove the illegal items off the hostage and deal with it. Some rules on suspect demands real quickly is that hostages are always going to remain at the bank. They're never allowed outside the city for free, and they never get more than a 5-second head start. Outside of that, use fucking common sense. If they ask for something stupid, they're not going to get it. Alright, so let's say, the successful scene there, somehow the robbers started to escape, but you guys did a great pit, you followed through, you arrested them. What is your responsibility? When you arrest someone, it is your responsibility to read them their rights before they enter the cell. However, in this city, the best practice is to read it before they get in your car. So, what do I say? Easy enough. Read them their Miranda rights before they get in their vehicle. So what are the Miranda rights? The Miranda rights are as follows. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. Make sure those 4 lines are fucking said to every single suspect before they enter your vehicle as best practice. Now, what are some other things you should do before they go in your vehicle? Well, number 1 is you fucking search them. They're going into your vehicle. They're sure as hell not going into their vehicle with anything illegal on them. So you search them, you strip them of anything illegal they may have, and make sure they're fucking clean before they go in your vehicle. Then you'll take them, of course, to PD for processing. You put them in a jail cell, you process them. Any felony offenses need to go to Pembroke. Any non-felony offenses, you can jail them at PD. That's going to be your F6 menu when you jail them. You'll see what options you have there. Now, in regards to how long you can jail someone, if they're belligerent with you, they complain, they're not being compliant with you, you're more than welcome to elevate how long they are up to the maximum penal code availability. The penal code is, of course, inside the information portion of the Discord. But if they're complying with you, not belligerent, they're being good, you can give them a reduced time sentence at this moment. Now, this may change as Pembroke itself gets a little facelift. We may change how we're going to operate that, but for now, that's kind of the rule of thumb. Now, let's talk about detaining versus arresting, because I've said both of those things now without really explaining what they are. You arrest someone when you have, evidence that they've committed a crime. They are now being searched and their items seized and taken to PD for arresting. Detaining someone is when you suspect something might be occurring or they're in an area and you need to secure it. You're going to detain the individuals around you. Now, when you detain them, you tell the individual that they are detained, and you can choose to place them into cuffs if you like to ensure they do not move. When they're detained, you tell them why they're detained. You just don't detain them for any fucking reason. You say you're detained because you're checking the scene out, in which case may happen. When you detain someone, you do not have the right to search them. You do, however, have the right to frisk them. A frisk will allow you to see what weapons an individual has. You will ask them if they have anything that may poke or prod you, so they have an opportunity to tell you what weapons they may have on you, because it is legal to carry certain firearms in the city. So you'll ask them the question, everything may poke or prod you, and then you'll go ahead and frisk them. So, because we don't have a direct frisking item, we have to search them fully. However, when you do search them, you're only going to see the weapons they have on them. During a frisk, if you happen to feel a bulge of 10 tons of cocaine, guess what? You don't fucking feel that 10 tons of cocaine. We're only looking for weapons on the frisk. Feeling that 10 tons of cocaine does not give you a reason to fucking find a way to arrest them and search them fully. Alright? That's not how we do this, because it's we don't have the ability to just do frisks. So if you're frisking someone, you don't see anything else on them. If you frisk someone and you happen to see something else, it does not give you a reason to try and find a way to arrest them to take them for that. Alright? Make that very clear. If the scene is clear, you've detained someone, you cannot at that time, find out that they committed a crime for whatever reasons. They are free to go. You try to detain them for as little time as possible so they can move on with the day. But you can detain them to make sure the scene is secure. So, you come into a place, you see someone running away, detain them, question them, see if, any cracks in the story shows up, frisk them, no problems, just let them move on. Alright? We can do investigative work after the fact, we can look for bullets, we can write a warrant if need be, and get them after the fact. So, what gives you the ability to search someone? Probable cause does. Probable cause is, when an individual has a warrant out on them, when you see them doing a felony evading, when they have prior convictions, when you witness them doing a serious crime. Basically, probable cause is, you're able to tell, with the scene around you, because you're looking and using your investigative, brains, that they did something wrong. But you're able to prove it with your probable cause. Clear? Alright, great. So let's talk about fines, jailing, and mugshots. The MDT does have the ability to store mugshots. There's instructions on how to do mugshots if you choose to do so. That's available for you to do. Fines. Fines are available through your F6 job menu. Make sure that's how you give someone a fine. When you give someone a fine, make sure there's no one else around you. Sometimes, you may think you're giving a fine to Jack in front of you, but really giving it to Bill beside you instead. So make sure no one's kind of around when you're giving people fines. You don't want to give fines to wrong people. We talked about jailing. When you jail suspects, they'll go to the appropriate location, either Pembroke or here, for the appropriate time as required. Again, if they're compliant, you can reduce their sentence to something more reasonable. If they're belligerent, you go ahead and hit them for longer. But be advised that, nothing crazy for fucking nothing, alright? I don't see them half an hour in fucking Pembroke for fucking nothing especially because of how Pembroke is now. Again, the exception to this is when they're fucking belligerent, they're repeat offenders for that day, you go ahead and do something like that. Alright, as a reminder, when you send someone to jail, you have to do the paperwork for it. Make sure you create a report whenever someone goes to jail. Bolos and Warrants. A bolo is be on the lookout for. It is used whenever an officer can identify something that looks suspicious and they want additional officers to be on the lookout for. They can provide a direct description of what they're looking for, a person, individual, a vehicle, and all their officers are going to be on the lookout for it. And if they are, they're going to call it in, kind of treat it like a felony stop, and get as many officers as they can to capture that person. A warrant. Guess what? We talked about earlier with MDTs. You know what warrants are? They're evidence collected that someone committed a crime, a report was written, a warrant was issued. It is our responsibility every day to check those warrant menus, make sure we know who's available for a warrant, go get them, make them serve it. Now, during any investigations you do, it is not okay for you to let the public know what's going on. Once the investigation is concluded, we can release the details as required to the public on a need-to-know basis. Alright, that brings us to a close for the knowledge portion of cadet training. Chris, we're going to get you some new clothes and get you all signed up. Alright, so when you do that, I'm going to ask Mr. Owens if you could provide Chris with the numbers for his outfit.
Right.
Like him signed up. So go ahead and take him to the clothing area, and I'll get him on his cadet ring. For any additional officers continuing with training, we're going to be moving on to the short field training exercise real shortly here, once Mr. R. Redfield is in the correct clothing.
Five D 39 1041. 01, you need any help with that vehicle exercise, or are you good? Sorry, 05, I meant to say.
I should be good with the vehicles I have available and who's supposed to attend.
Roger that.
Am I wearing the wrong badge? I think I'm wearing the wrong badge.
Let me get real close and see. This light's terrible, I can't tell. Hey church. Sorry, I was doing that so I couldn't see my Twitch chat at all. Alright, moving on to the field training portion.
Body armor 8.
Alright, Mr. Sanders, do you have your vehicle ready?
Yeah.
Excellent. Alright, once Mr. Redfield's available, we'll get him on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Alright, let's head out to the vehicles and get ready for the field training portion.
Hey, Thompson.
Yes, go for Thompson.
Jinx, he messaged me privately. He's having family issues going on right now. I see that his, application has an X. I'm not sure if it's
Jinx?
because he didn't make it to this meeting. It's the last, Jamal Jeffrey.
Yeah, he wasn't even in Discord. I tried to look for his name. He wasn't there.
Jesus.
His name's really weird. I'll have to send it over to you.
Okay.
He just joined yesterday, but he's having family issues today. He just woke up,
Mr. Sanders, please pull your
and
vehicle.
had some issues. So he's wondering if he can reschedule.
Yeah, you can do it the next one. That's fine. I just need to. You're supposed to contact me, but that's fine.
Okay, I told him I'll get a hold of Chief. I'm sorry. I'll tell him to message you too.
Oh yeah, his responsibility is to check with me first, because it's fucking.
Okay.
But okay. That's
Okay,
fine.
I'll talk to him too. All right.
Alright, we'll wait till y'all get your vehicles ready. So, Mr. Redfield, for your awareness, when pulling a vehicle out of PD, you're gonna have to hotwire it first. Just how it is. Our mechanics lose our fucking keys all the time. Make sure you hotwire, do not search your vehicle, hotwire it.
10-4.
And make sure you put it away in the night. So we're on 2 more individuals.
Sir, how do you get that livery?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to go to mechanic and get them to put the other one on.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, I'm assuming they're good to go.
5 Delta 37, I'll be there just behind you.
Yeah, somehow my tire popped. Alright, so by the way, you should have access to Radio 1 now. Can you double check for me, Mr. Redfield? Do you know how to access your radio?
Check.
Check, okay.
Alright, Mr. Redfield, while we're waiting, let me give you your Delta code. Mr. Redfield.
If you need me to work the roster while you talk to him, I can. I was working on the penal code just then.
Nah, I got it. Mr. It's part of the game, they get to wait. Alright, Mr. Redfield, what is your hashtag after LB?
Let me check real quick. Hashtag 0641.
0641.
They having a PD race?
Something like that.
Hey Thompson, sorry again. He sent you a friend request. He tried messaging you, but it's not going through.
Alright, I'll accept the friend request from him.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
I
Okay.
feel very invested in this Tyler Ramen situation.
Alright, so moving on now. Congratulations, Chris Redfield. You're now 5 Delta 47. Alright, so if you look at your map, your little P muscle, escape muscle, you should see we have a whole bunch of blips all over the place. Right? Well, I'll let you know who your fellow officers are. To activate yours, you're going to type the following. Think the following. Well, 5, not a fucking percent sign.
47. It's my old call sign.
Yeah, by the way, update your call sign. It still says 47.
I did.
Okay,
Did it
good.
already.
Alright. Alright. Okay, so we're now going to proceed with, Alright, Mr. Walker, you want to get in your vehicle? You're going to be a felon. You're going to be our traffic stop. Congratulations, you just stopped by yourself. Alright, Mr. Redfield, please get in my vehicle.
I have the power to opt out of this. if I
Alright,
wish.
okay,
Just
opt out of it.
remember that.
Opt out, opt out. I'll get, let's see. Let's Mr. Owens. Do you have a vehicle at Mr. Owens?
There you go.
I have a vehicle
I'm
here,
ready.
yes sir.
Alright,
Dude.
you're gonna be our crim.
Alright.
Walker, get out of there. You're busy doing your penal code stuff.
Yay.
Alright.
I don't know what works.
I like how he's telling you what to do. I'm cracking up over here.
Yeah, it's my scene.
Training is all him.
Sounds like it.
I would just give you my
Affirmative,
keys.
you're showing up as 37.
Dogs right now.
Thank you very much.
Alright, so all officers are actually on channel 1. What's gonna happen is Mr. Owens is gonna drive by Delta 47. And Delta 47, you're going to flash your lights to perform a traffic stop. Owens, I want you to stop approximately right by me. And then Delta 47, you're gonna show me how to do a traffic stop. Delta 47, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, go ahead, Mr. Owens. Delta 47, do you know what muscle for your lights and sirens?
No, I don't.
You should have asked. The answer is Q for your lights, default, caps muscle, default for sirens. If you just want a single pump of your sirens, you can use your arm muscle. If you want to change your sirens while they're running, You can hit the R muscle to change them, as you just did.
What the fuck did I get pulled over here, man? What's up with this, man? Coming to see folk get me, man.
So I will radio this in, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Delta 47. What's the code again for a traffic stop?
It's at 1011. Remember, you can look at the, pull up that code sheet right beside you.
Man, you best hurry up and tell me why you fuck pulled me over, man. I'm getting agitated.
Okay, and where's the rap sheet at?
It's going to be in
I
your
have to have a little beer.
information channel in Discord. You gotta scroll up. It's past, it's just above the phonetic alphabet.
Shit, I'm gonna have drank this whole tall boy by the time you got up here.
Okay, I am not seeing it.
All right,
I might just be blind.
let me help you real quick then. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do information. Scroll up. Copy link. There, I just direct messaged you it.
Alright, I got it. So I stay.
Back in
You know-
game. Back in game so here it comes.
Okay.
Yeah. The hell?
Okay, Delta 47 performing a 1011. Sir, can you turn the vehicle off?
Sure.
Okay, I see what's not matching. Here, Title 2 is not what's matching up, right?
For some reason I can't exit the vehicle.
Is your belt on? Press B for your seatbelt.
Got it. Hello, sir. Chris Redfield with the Los Santos Police Department. Do you know why I pulled you over today?
No, what the fuck? I don't know why you pulled me over at all. What the fuck
I
is that
got-
all about?
I got you doing a little speeding back there.
Speeding? I wasn't speeding none.
My radar says otherwise, sir.
Shit. What was like? How fast I go? NASCAR speed?
You were just doing, I'd say like 10 over the speed limit.
Damn. Okay, well, as long as I'm not in trouble for this drink here.
Is that a open container, sir, of alcohol?
Man, sir, no, this is a soda.
Okay, sir. I'm gonna have to ask you to step out of your vehicle real quick.
No, okay.
Okay, so what do I do now?
You made this RP scenario, so you lead it.
Oh shit.
Oh man, I do love me some pibwa, sir.
Alright, do you give up on your scenario?
Oh yeah, I do.
Alright, so in which case you ask the man to step out of his vehicle
I saw it.
with the mural. You can consider a traffic stop, but you'd ask me to do normal stuff, you know? Walk in a straight line, fucking do the alphabet backwards, I don't give a fuck. You wanna continue the drunk roleplay, you need to make sure that you understand some, basic things on how to tell you're drunk. We do have a fine for public intoxication, so that is actually something you can do. Of course, you would pro-plate it as required. You know, maybe send him in a drunk tank for a day. Maybe just set him a fine and let him walk home. I don't care. It's up to you what you feel like doing. Now, Mr. Sanders, what did Delta 47 do incorrectly when he pulled up for his traffic stop?
He forgot to tell him the location of where y'all at.
Anything else?
That's all I seen.
He also didn't tell us what fucking vehicle was driving here. So, Mr. Redfield, if something had gone bad in this scenario, guess what? You got no backup.
That's my bad.
That's why the first thing we do before we go to the vehicle is we radio it in, let people know where we are, let people know what we're looking at, so that if need be, we can get assistance to you. Alright, so now let's reset the scenario. Go ahead and return your positions, and I need Mr. Sanders to get in your vehicle. Delta 47, you can stay in your vehicle as well.
Are you gonna be on after this?
Yes.
Okay, because I was looking at the penal code, trying to go through there and pull fines that don't match up and fix fines and shit. But I have to have somebody next to me to do all this shit.
Yeah,
I can't see the
we
fucking fines.
We can do it together.
Stupid. But I see what you were talking about. Title 2 is all kinds of fuck.
Yeah. Alright, so in this scenario, what's going to happen is, Mr. Sanders, you'll be the one performing the traffic stop. Owen, you're going to be our felon again, so please, go ahead and just swing by.
Delta 48 gonna be in at 1011 on Vespucci Boulevard down at the canal going southbound with a gray 06 Charger.
Oh no, the plates came back, it's a felon.
Oh no. Oh no, he said. What do you do?
Delta 48, I said it's a felon. What are you going to do?
Oh, can I get some additionals over here? This car is felon.
Delta 37 en route.
Hold on. The secondary on the scene is going to be Mr. Redfield, Delta 47.
Okay, so I'm kind of confused on what I'm supposed to do now.
Alright, so in the training, the second unit to respond to a felon stop is going to park in front of the vehicle. Looks like we need initials. Delta 37, you want to be a third?
Oh man.
On my way.
He's getting antsy.
Alright, Delta 48, still your scene.
Sir, turn the car off.
Fine, fuck. Fine.
Delta 48 forming a 1011 on
fuck is this?
Vespucci Boulevard under the canal.
What the fuck is this?
Controls
Up and
the
clean,
scene.
man.
Sir, turn off the vehicle.
There it's off, sir.
Oh, he's fucking up.
No, what the fuck?
You're going
Oh.
a little bit fast and driving right.
Whoa, driving recklessly? What do you mean? I haven't wrecked. You ran into me. Yeah, this guy over here on the right, he fucking ran into me.
We're trying to get out of this.
Well, I was feeling a little bit stressed. How, would you not feel stressed when cops start pulling up like that? I don't know what you're gonna do. What are you gonna do? Shoot me, maybe?
Wow.
The fuck?
So do you have any ID on you?
Do I have an ID? Yeah, I have a fucking ID. Here.
Is your name Huck Owens?
Yeah. Name's fucking Huck Owens. Remember it, bitch.
I'll be back.
God, fucking pulling me over right now. I'm on the way to a party, dude. I'm on a way to a sick fucking party with a boatload of bitches, and none of y'all are gonna be there. So why don't you just let me go and do my shit? Fucking rich as fuck. I'm not underpaid like you guys. Oink oink.
Alright, sir, everything came back clear. I'm
It's just the part where I came in at 100 miles an hour and hit the cars like bowling.
Clear. Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
Negative.
Oh, okay. Awesome, man. I'm gonna go get some bitches tonight. I'll pour a few shots out for you.
Alright.
Alright, am I free to go?
Yeah, you're free to go and lights are off.
Okay.
Alright, so does anyone want to tell me what went wrong in this scenario? Any volunteers? Last chance volunteers.
Can I?
Oh,
I can do it. I didn't realize my mic was on mute.
Alright, Officer Johnny, go ahead, go for me. Tell me what went wrong in that scenario.
It was a felony stop.
Perfect, so what? The felony stop, so tell me why it was wrong. Yeah, it was a felony stop, so what was wrong with it?
We didn't detain him for whatever felony his warrant was. We didn't take him out of the car and send him to Bolingbrook.
So real quick, just because they're a felon doesn't necessarily mean they have a warrant. It just means that they are notorious violent offenders. So that's you should proceed with considering them violent in any situation that you deal with them.
Gotcha, I misunderstood.
Alright, so let's talk about in the step-by-step process what happened here. So, Delta 48 pulled up behind the vehicle. He called the radio in. That's fine. Well, he should have probably told the person to turn the vehicle off before the additional showed up. That's, schematics. At least you didn't get out of the vehicle first. So, your additionals showed up. You had them boxed. The command was taken to the scene. And that was about it. You didn't tell what officer should stay in the vehicle, what officer should step out with you, who's going to have a lethal drawn, who's going to have a non-lethal drawn. These are all items that need to be aware of as the commanding officer on the scene of a felon stop. You don't know what's happening with that felon inside. You know he's a violent offender. You don't. Maybe he has a warrant. Who knows? You just know he's dangerous. So that's step one there. All right. So step one is to get him to leave the vehicle. To tell you which officers are leaving the vehicle and what they're doing. Step two: when you step out of the vehicle, you approach the vehicle. In the felon stop, remember, you ask them to leave their vehicle. They step out, and you get them to walk backwards towards you. I don't know how to do that. You have in your eyes to do that.
The only way to do that is to ask the person to look through their eyes and step back.
Like so. Alright, so they would do that. And they would go back towards your voice, where you would then detain them and figure out what's going on. Additionally, when you called for 32s, you didn't repeat your location. So you wanted 32s, but, they weren't paying attention to you until you said 32. So remember, always repeat your location. After that, you would have treated the individual in question as you did. In this case, he didn't have acting performance. He was just a dangerous offender, so we wouldn't have done anything more. Just pull him over for that traffic stop and find him as appropriate. Alright, some last notations for the new cadets. Your vehicle will be paid for and maxed out by the police department. So you must come with me back to PD so I can provide you with the funds required to do so. Additionally, whenever you upgrade your vehicle, first park it inside Legion Garage, then take it out and park it back at PD. Whenever a tsunami hits and you pull your car from PD, your vehicle will have its keys lost. Please hotwire your vehicle. Do not search it. It will break. Next step. Your radars. Guess what? We're all equipped with radars. So real quick, I'm going to let you know how to do it all. Real quickly. Walker, on top of the vehicle, please, so I can radar your vehicle. Great. So to activate radar, you're going to hit your F5 muscle. That's going to bring up your toggle, your remote control for your antenna. You're going to hit toggle display. You're then going to hit the power button on the bottom right corner of your HUD. Right? That's going to be a little beep a bop a boop. All your fucking radar's going to turn on, but it's not ready yet. You're going to hit the up arrow that says XMT hold on your front antenna. Then your down arrow that says hold XMT on your rear antenna. You will then hit same on the front antenna, that's the right button, and then same on your rear antenna, that's the right button as well. Your radar is now active. You then press you can press escape to put away your remote control, and your radar is good to go. Your radar is a direct beam in front of your car and behind your car. It will not read plates that drive past you. You need to be in line with them, going the same direction. So you cannot just, fucking hide behind a peak corner and try and catch people like that. Unfortunately, it does not work. You're gonna have to be in line with them for it to work. Any further questions?
No, sir.
Alright, excellent. You've all passed the field operations portion as cadets. To let you know from promotional style, at 10 hours of being a cadet, you do get upgraded to a probationary officer. A probationary officer, you have the ability to wield the AR rules, as well as take evidence using a flashlight. It's very important for coming on scene where there's gunshots fired, so get those 10 hours in. Once you've hit 50 hours of a probationary officer, you become a full-time officer. That gives you all the regular rights and a new vehicle. Fancy you. At this point, you are capped out in hours served. The only way to proceed higher in the PD is to pass written tests. Those written tests are knowledge-based, situational-based, and will test your skills. Any questions?
Delta 37, what's your 1020?
No, sir.
Excellent. All right. Let's head back towards back base and let you all go. You need to give me my keys back, Delta 47. Think/give keys in my face. Oh, we're good. I saw them. Alright, this training session is complete. Delta 47, you are officially part of the force.